I really suck as a YouTuber. Again, no prediction video. I'm sorry, I'm in college, but 2 weeks in a row, I don't find that as a valid excuse anymore. I'm gonna try to finish off strong, and we got a good recap video because we had a lot of good games last week, so let's get into it. Quick little update though before I start the recap. I'm gonna change up my video format. I found that it worked a little bit better for me last week, except for no prediction video. Again, I'm sorry. How I'm gonna do it though is instead of posting videos on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm gonna do the recap Tuesday morning, the polls Wednesday morning, and then a prediction video Thursday morning. I think it goes a lot easier for me, just to split everything up instead of having to do it all in one night, especially with my school schedule. I found it to be a lot easier. So just want to let y'all know that as we get into our 5 big winners. The first big winner for me is Washington as they took down USC in a shootout, 52-42. I didn't watch this game as I was watching LSU, but just looking at it, no defense. Crazy, 94 total points. Looking at the game though, Penix played really good, and looks like the Heisman frontrunner now, especially after LSU lost to Bama. We'll look at that later. But again, looking at Washington, Penix played great. The big hero for Washington though was Dylan Johnson. 256 yards and 4 touchdowns is amazing. And again, USC doesn't have a defense. They actually fired their defensive coordinator after this game, which was pretty funny, but deserved. So with that, Washington won. They're 9-0. Their defense is pretty bad, so it's gonna be questionable if they get to the playoffs of how good they're gonna play. But with their offense being so good, I definitely wouldn't say that they can't win a playoff game. But their defense is so bad, that's why I have them as the 5th biggest winner instead of higher up. But still a great win as they're undefeated. So they're my 5th biggest winner. The next big winner for me is Texas as they survived K-State, winning 33-30 in overtime. Texas looked like they were going to choke this, and they looked like they were going to be my biggest loser. They were up by 20 points, and they looked just fine with no Quinn Ewers, but second half told a completely different story. K-State started to get it rolling. Will Howard played amazing, but Texas finished strong. They got a field goal to bring it to overtime, and then they won in overtime because K-State was kind of being stupid. So I really did feel like Texas got that win handed it to them, but they beat a ranked team with no Quinn Ewers. Very impressive win. They got a really good game from Corey Brooks and Adonai Mitchell, and that's really all I can say. Good win. They're gonna definitely need Quinn Ewers back though for the championship game, whoever they play, because games like that, they're not gonna get many of those, but still a good win for them. The next big winner for me is Alabama as they beat LSU 42-28. I watched this game, and as an LSU fan, it sucks. LSU and Bama looked like they were gonna have an all-time great shootout. Jalen Monroe and Jane Daniels were playing amazing, and second half, Bama's second half adjustments that they've had all season came through. They forced LSU to punt, they scored to take the lead, and then what really sealed the deal was the tip pick that they also scored on, and then Jane Daniels got injured, which people were talking about as a very questionable call. Should have been targeting. Was it a dirty hit as Jane Daniels got concussed, and people thought he broke his jaw, but I don't think he did. But still, that's being argued about if it's a dirty hit. But then after that, Bama just had it in the bag. Being up 2 possessions with LSU's back up in, there was no shot. Bama played a great game on offense though. Jalen Monroe had 4 touchdowns on the ground. He had 374 yards of offense. He was insane for Bama. And I think with this game, he's kind of catapulted himself into a Heisman dark horse now. Bama is looking better as the season goes on, and I think it really is a question now, since it looks pretty obvious that's going to be them in Georgia in this title game now. Can they actually beat Georgia? I don't know, we'll see, but great win for Bama, as it just looked better every week in my opinion. The next big winner for me is Georgia as they beat Missouri 30-21. I watched this game, of course, as this was going to decide basically who's going to come out the East in the SEC championship game. And looked like Missouri was going to have it. They had the lead Start the second half, they were up 13-10, but then Georgia changed. Carson Beck started to play really good, and then their defense started to play really good. They got a bunch of big picks that Missouri just couldn't claw their way back from. And I mean, I feel like in the second half, Georgia had that game under control. Missouri did make it close. They made it 24-21, but I think Georgia had it to that point. After they made it 24-13, there was just no shot, I think, from Missouri. It's a great win for Georgia, especially when Brock Bowers beating a ranked SEC East team. A lot of people have been doubting Georgia because their strength of schedule hasn't been the greatest, but they did what they're supposed to. They beat Missouri. Georgia has two more tough games though against Ole Miss and Tennessee to see if they can fully clinch the SEC East. But I think they got it. If they just beat one of those teams, they're in. So great win for Georgia, but they are not my biggest winner. The biggest winner for me is Oklahoma State as they beat Oklahoma in the final scheduled matchup of Bedlam, 27-24. I unfortunately did not watch this game, but it looks like I missed out. This was a great game to end off the rivalry as we know it because Oklahoma's leaving for the SEC. So, I mean, I don't know how long it's gonna be before these teams play each other, but if this was the last game for 10 so years, what a way to end it. Oklahoma State played amazing. They had control for most of the game, except for when Oklahoma got up in the third quarter. They started to look pretty bad, but they didn't look back. They had a great game from all sides of the ball for Oklahoma State, mainly on offense. Rashad Owens played really good. Ollie Gordon has been a beast. He's definitely climbed up in the Heisman ladder for me, and I think if he keeps it up, he definitely has a chance. And then Alan Bowman played really good for Oklahoma State at quarterback. I think he had 420 yards of offense, which is insane. I'll have to look at it again, but he played good from what I saw. And I know people were talking about the controversial goal line stand when there was possibly a flag, but Oklahoma State, they won. They're on a 5-game win streak. They've looked really good, and they control their destiny as they have a chance to go to the Big 12 title game. And if they win there, then Sugar Bowl they go. I don't think they can make the playoffs, especially because the two losses they have are early, but they stand out really bad. So I think their playoff hopes are impossible, but Sugar Bowl, definitely. Great win for Oklahoma State as they are my biggest winner. With plenty of good games and plenty of winners, that means plenty of losers to talk about. And for the first loser, I have Air Force. Air Force was undefeated, and they lost to a really bad Army team 23-3. I know this was a rivalry game, and I know it's a little different in rivalry games, but still only 3 points when you've been one of the better offenses in the country. It's pretty bad. They had 6 turnovers too, just overall a terrible game. Air Force's defense did about all they could, but when your offense has 6 turnovers, you really can't do much. A lot of people considered Air Force the best Group of 5 team. After this, I think their chances of making a New Year's Six are done. I think either Liberty or Tulane will get that spot now before them, especially with Liberty being undefeated and Tulane continuing to win. I think Air Force's chances are done. And just with all that, that makes them one of my biggest losers, especially getting blown out by a bad Army team. So yeah, they're my 5th biggest loser. The 4th biggest loser for me is Notre Dame, as they lost to Clemson 31-23. Notre Dame has been staying pretty consistent this whole season, but this loss to Clemson, I think their New Year's Six chances are done. They were out the playoffs, but I think with this loss, they got no chance of making a New Year's Six now. Sam Hartman played terrible. He had 2 picks, no touchdowns. He had a under 50% completion percentage. Just everything for Notre Dame did not go well. Their rushing attack was pretty weak, and it looked like Clemson won. It looks like they would have a pretty easy win against Clemson because Clemson didn't even have Will Shipley, but then Phil Maffa balled out on them. He almost had 200 rushing yards and had 2 touchdowns. It's a really bad loss for Notre Dame. They're 7-3. They don't have much. They only have 2 games left, and like I said, with this, they have no shot of making a New Year's Six in my opinion. Sam Hartman is out the Heisman race, and it was already very slim, but now he's out of it. Just terrible for Notre Dame, especially because Clemson has not been that great this year. So yeah, Notre Dame was getting beat up early. They tried to come back, but just no shot. So Notre Dame is my 4th biggest loser. The next big loser for me is USC, as they lost to Washington 52-42. USC, their defense is awful. ESPN recently posted a stat that the last 6 games they've allowed an average of 44 points a game, which is terrible. USC has lost their last 3 games in a row. They now have no shot to make the Pac-12 title game. Caleb Williams, he might get a few Heisman votes, but I think now he's out of it completely. I know it's not his fault, especially in this game. He did play great, but with them being 7-3, I just don't think they have much of a chance anymore of him getting any sort of hardware. It really sucks for USC. I thought they were going to be super good, but their defense, it's been the reason they suck this year. Their defense coordinator got fired, which was the right move. I mean, just look at this game. I mean, 52 points. I know Washington's offense is great, but still, when you're at home, that's just unacceptable. So USC is my third biggest loser, primarily because of their defense. Their offense played about as good as they could. There really are a lot of losers this week, so it gets really hard to narrow it down. But I think I got it figured out now. For the second biggest loser, I have K-State as they lost to Texas, 30-33. K-State should have had this game. Will Howard was playing amazing. He had 4 touchdowns in the, let me see. He had 3 of those in the second half. He was playing insane. Everything was hitting for K-State, but then when we went to overtime, it looked like they had it again. They got to the 6-yard line, 4 plays to get 6 yards, and they couldn't do it. It was really bad. I didn't watch the game, but from what I heard, it wasn't great play calling, and that was just the reason they couldn't do anything. Well, they couldn't get 6 yards in 4 plays, which is really bad. They had a chance to upset Texas and just in their playoff hopes right there, but didn't happen. K-State's a big loser just because you had all that momentum. It looked like you had the game in the bag. You just made a 20-point comeback and you're in overtime with a team that doesn't have Quinn Ewers, and you still lost. Especially with the play calling they had in overtime, I would definitely say that they're the second biggest loser just because of that choke job in overtime. And to me, the biggest loser is Oklahoma, as they lost against Oklahoma State for the final Bedlam matchup as we know it, 27-24. Talk about the game from Oklahoma State's side, now from Oklahoma. This is bad. They were 7-0, and they were looking all right. They had that scare against UCF, but I guess that explained it for us. They lost to Kansas last week, and then they lost to Oklahoma State this week, as their playoff hopes are now over. I know they're going to bring up the controversial refereeing at the close to the end zone. I didn't watch it, so I don't know exactly what happened, but I hear a lot of people complaining about a really bad no call. But again, Oklahoma was considered a playoff team by many, and just to end the playoff hopes like that, losing to your biggest rival in the last known matchup you're going to have, I think that's enough for me to say that they're my biggest loser. It's really bad for Oklahoma State, for Oklahoma, as now they're in the back seat. They're going to need some luck their way to get back and make the Big 12 title game, as now Texas and Oklahoma State are the clear front runners. So, which is really bad for Oklahoma, and I think that's enough to make them my biggest loser. Now to wrap up this video, who I think are the Heismans after this week. I think a few candidates are out of it. Drake May's been out of it. And I think we got a new candidate in there. For me, I still think Michael Penix is number 1. Jane Daniels had a tough loss to Bama. I know it wasn't his fault because he played amazing. He got knocked out of the game. But that's the thing, he got knocked out of the game, and he was in concussion protocol. So it depends. If he plays against Florida, then he still has a chance. And I think with how he played against Bama, he's definitely going to be a finalist. But I don't know if he has it anymore. It's a chance to win. I think he had to beat Bama to win it. So yeah, I still think he's definitely in the running. Maybe if Penix has a bad game or they lose, then Jane Daniels is back in the race. But as of right now, I think Penix is the clear front runner, and Jane Daniels will finish second. Behind them, I have Jordan Travis, and Dylan Gabriel's tough. I don't know if he's in it anymore. He didn't play that great against Oklahoma State. They've lost 2 in a row. I think he'll still be there and get some votes and maybe even be a finalist, but saying it's a chance to win now is tough. And I think one of the people that have to climb up there is Ollie Gordon. He's been playing amazing during Oklahoma State's 5-game win streak. He's leading the country in rushing yards, so I think how he's playing right now, he can definitely keep it up and become a finalist and maybe win it if some craziness happens. And of course, Caleb Williams still has the stats, so he's still going to be there. And there's Bo Nix, of course. I always forget these. I know I don't have a script. I always feel like I forget some names, but I think I got it. So let me just list them down again. I got Penix winning it still, Jane Daniels behind him, and then you have Bo Nix, Jordan Travis, Caleb Williams. I feel like I'm forgetting someone again. I know I'm not forgetting Ollie Gordon, he's there. I just don't really think Marvin Harrison has a chance. He is the best receiver in college football in my opinion. I think he'll definitely win the Blitnikoff if it's not Malik Neighbors. But I think with that missed game, I just don't know if Marvin Harrison has a chance. I'm sorry, but I just don't think so. But those are my Heismans because I still don't think JJ McCartney has a chance to win the Heisman in my opinion. I'm sorry, Michigan fans, but I just don't think he has a chance. His stats aren't amazing, and I know why, it's because he doesn't play the second half, but still, you need the stats, in my opinion. And that's how you become the most outstanding player. So those are my Heismans, and that wraps up the recap video. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed. Again, I'm sorry for no prediction video last week. I really wanted to do one. I got some homework, and then I just kind of found no time to do it, but I promise with this new release format, I'm hoping that I'm gonna be able to get these videos out faster. I'm definitely doing a prediction video though. Definitely. I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna miss 3 in a row. I know I said a few videos prior that I would never miss 2 in a row, but that happened. Again, I'm super sorry, but I will never miss 3 in a row. If that happens, I'm just gonna delete the channel because then I don't think YouTube's for me then. But hope you enjoyed the video. Like, favorite, subscribe if you had. And I'll be back tomorrow to talk about the college football playoff polls.